For the 2019 Read Across America celebration, a team of staff at Garfield Elementary School felt called to find a piece of literature that would both get the entire school involved and celebrate the diversity that is Garfield. Their decision on this particular book has been a while in the making.
A couple years ago I read the book Wish Tree, and as I was reading it, my mind flashed back to when I first came to the Sioux Falls School District and I worked at Garfield. It reminded me of this neighborhood. And over the years, the neighborhood has changed. Different people have moved in and out. And so when I started here, I said to my principal, this would be a great book for one book, one school. It talks about diversity, it talks about welcoming the stranger, and it talks about how things change over time. And so that's kind of where the idea was sparked.
Wish Tree by Katherine Applegate is about a large tree named Red. Red is a middle-aged red oak tree that sits in the heart of a diverse community. She also serves as a wish tree. Her branches are tied with different rags, tags, and other unique items with wishes scribbled on them that the neighborhood residents deposit once a year. While Red isn't supposed to talk with the humans in the neighborhood, she deeply cares for them, especially for a young Muslim girl and her family when they are treated unjustly upon arrival into the neighborhood. Red represents inclusion, open-heartedness, and confronts prejudices head-on.
One of the things in this story, it's about a family. A family moves into the area, and they're different. And because they're different, people treat them differently, and people treat them maybe not in a way that they treat other people that live in that neighborhood. And so we really talked and really focused on how as a staff, because our community in Garfield and our kids come from different places. We have anyone and everyone. You know, we have Hispanic kids, we have, you know, Native American population, we have a Muslim population, we have, you know, any population that you name, they come to Garfield.
The Wish Tree, it is about where you don't judge people by their colors, and you don't judge them by their race, you judge them by their personality and their kindness. You don't judge them because you shouldn't, because that's just rude.
After winter break, students started reading Wish Tree together in their classrooms. Not only were the students and classroom teachers reading Wish Tree, but the entire Garfield staff got involved.
Preschool all the way to 5th grade had their hands on this project. It would have never been the success it was if it wasn't for every single teacher coming on board and adapting it to their grade level and their age level. So when the little kids would go home, the preschool child would be able to talk about that with mom, and the 5th grader could chime in because they were talking about the same book.
During the last week in February, the week of Read Across America Day, Monday through Friday, Garfield had a special day dedicated to the Wish Tree theme. From wearing red in honor of Wish Tree's name to Leaf Your Shoe at the Door Day, the class celebrated the book's message. But the project didn't stop there.
Well, one of the things, we came together as a committee and we wanted to do something that highlighted Wish Tree. So we thought, let's welcome and invite teachers and students to make their own Wish Tree. Again, diversity, because what looks like a wish tree to you might not look like a wish tree to me, but yet we can grow in the same forest. And so students got together and they just planned their wish trees. And what was nice is that everyone had kind of an idea of what was important for their classroom or their library. Even our orchestra teacher has a wish tree, and all of his leaves are from the printed notes of music. And so it just highlighted that we are all different, but we can grow in the same forest. And it just blossomed from there.
Classroom teachers and students worked together to create their very own wish trees outside of their classrooms. Once the trees were created, students wrote down what their wishes were and fastened them to their wish tree, just like in the book.
I wish for my grandpa again to have a jetpack.
A cure for dogs' glaucoma, because my dog has glaucoma.
My wish was that nobody will be treated badly.
My wish was for my mom and dad back together.
You know, there's all kinds of wishes. There's wishes from I wanted to go see Shrek to I want people to come together in life. I want people to use Ubuntu. I want them to be together. I want people to see the best in others. I want to see my grandma again. I want to see my grandpa again. I want my parents to get back together. All those kinds of things help you and help our students and our staff say, you know what, we want to help them reach those dreams. Now, some of those dreams, some of those wishes might not come true. Really helping them at a young age establish those social skills and those emotional skills to be effective when they go out into the world, into middle school, into high school, and into a job, because we know that we need to start at a young age, you know, to get them prepared and get them reading and get them feeling that sense of community so that they will continue on.
Once students created their own classroom trees, they were given the opportunity to walk around their school to look at their fellow classmates' tree creations.
The other thing we did was we had a parade of trees. So kids walked around and they each had a little leaf and they could put on the trees, kind of saying what they liked about the tree or what they like about Garfield, and really get that sense of community by walking around and feeling that sense of belonging.
When we did our parade of trees, our theme was Leave a Little Kindness. But they took leaves, and teachers gave them quiet time to just say, what do you wish for? Or maybe what's good about Garfield or your family or your home that you want to share with people. It wasn't a competition about whose tree is better, because how can something diverse be better than something else?
The message of inclusion and diversity found in Wish Tree is something that the staff of Garfield are trying to bring more and more of in each and every day, particularly in the library.
Children need to see themselves in books, whether they're blonde hair, blue-eyed, whether they're brown skin and brown-eyed, whether they wear a hijab, or they're in a wheelchair, or they're differently abled. If children feel themselves as invisible, they're not lifelong learners. But if we can show that they matter, that they're important, that's academic success, that's human success, and children grow when they're able to see themselves. And I think it's important too because our diverse books need to be more than just buses and boycotts. Children need to see themselves doing normal things, going to the store, maybe becoming a princess or a king. And that's why I've just put that forward, that no matter what we do, when anyone walks in here, there has to be a book that they see themselves in.
Or there's a little story about a girl who went into the library and she said to the librarian, she said, I can never be a princess because I don't see any princess books that look like me. And our librarian said, you know what? We have to get books that our kids see themselves in. And so that was really one of our focuses in the Wish Tree, because it has people from all different populations coming together. And so that was kind of one of our main focuses as well.
So what's been the impact Wish Tree has had so far at Garfield?
So it's been really neat. We have 5th graders and 4th graders that have really wanted to help our kindergartners out because they see them as those leaders coming up and really want to help them, you know, establish those goals and those habits to help them be effective and reach their wishes or their dreams, those kinds of things.
For this book especially, children have found that welcoming is something you have to be intentional about. We can say we're a welcoming community, but what does that look like? And so children, after reading this book, have become more intentional. They'll hold the door for someone coming in the office. And their wishes around school are not for frivolous things like, oh, I want a PlayStation. They're wishing for peace and kindness. They're wishing for a friend. We have children that have written wishes of, I wish my grandma were still alive, or they'd find a cure for cancer. I think after reading this, we've become intentional. And the nice piece is, we've become intentional as a staff as well.
The message found within Wish Tree goes far beyond the Garfield doors.
Because this book, what I love about this is, especially in our political climate, whatever side of the aisle you are on, I think we all need to be not on a side of an aisle, but in the aisle. And children, when we read this, when the animals talk in this book, it's silly and cute and funny, but there's always a message that's poignant. And reading this and letting children think about it themselves in a non-threatening way, or you need to get this done because it's an assignment, I think gave children time to think. This was a team effort. We had no idea. We thought it would be a great week, and it got away from us because I think it was authentic and it was loving and kind, and it just struck a chord for children of welcoming the other, living in peace. And many of us truly try to live by a word called Ubuntu. And it's a South African phrase, and it means I am who I am because you are who you are. What you do affects me. What I do affects you. And if I can add some kindness, maybe you don't feel so broken. And maybe if you're not so broken, you can help others.
Because it's important that you be respectful so that they be respectful to you and kind, that you be nice to them.
The world is a better place if you include anybody and everybody that are nice and kind of mean, but you can make them feel nice again, and you can make them care about themselves and stuff, and like, you don't have to do what most people do. You don't have to act like bullies.
The Wish Tree project turned into something bigger than what the staff at Garfield could have ever imagined.
It was a team effort. And for the first time, I think, in a long time, when I mean team, I mean the people that work in the lunchroom, the counselors, the custodians, the secretaries, the nurses, the principal, the teachers, the EAs, the kids. We really came together, and I think if you're genuine, it gets away from you, and this project became much bigger than we are.
As a guest walking around the halls of Garfield, reading the wishes on the trees one by one, it would seem as if the wishes were written by adults who have been around the world once or twice, but rather, they were written by innocent, thoughtful children who seemed to truly grasp the concept of compassion, inclusion, and what it means to be a community. What was your favorite quote that you saw?
I think there were actually two, and it just kind of took my breath away. One said, I feel safe here, and I wish that for everybody. And the other one said, I can be myself here, and that's my wish come true. And I just get a little emotional because these didn't have names on it, so children weren't doing it to get credit or, hey, look at me. It became a point where staff and students became vulnerable, and they were seen. I matter, and it doesn't matter that my skin color is different, or I may be differently abled and you can't see what I'm struggling with. I belong and I'm welcome. And maybe my wish will come true someday, but maybe it's coming true right now.